Welcome back to Country Kids Outdoors. This is your host, Stephen Kidd. If you would, just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button there. Share it with somebody. But happy 4th of July. I thank the Lord for our country still. And our independence. Still the best country in the world to live in. We got a little bitty project here on the 4th. A lot of times we like to go up to the river. So we're headed to the river in the morning. Me and Mace. So I'm trying to get both kayaks ready. But y'all know I've got the Jackson Knarr, the old Knarr right there. Been a decent boat. You know, my first one I had was actually got warranted, and I think dugout bait and tackle for that. They took care of that for me. But be honest with you, in the river, really don't need to drive. So if you'll notice here, the old drive is missing. So I've been wanting to take this drive out for a while, especially with having the XI3 power pole in the back. I will say, I'll just be really honest with you, the only thing about the boat I have not really liked has been the rudder system. Jackson, that stinks. I'm just going to tell you, it's terrible. I'm pretty mechanically inclined. You guys watching my videos, that's the hardest thing in the world to try to adjust. So a lot of times I just use my paddle, and of course the XI3 to get around in. So I'm gonna do a little a project here to get rid of this hole right here. So got me a little cutting board that I really like from Walmart. So stay tuned. We're gonna put that on here. Man, I tell you, had to come in here in the building where the fan's at. I don't know where you're at, but it's hot. So, but here's the cutting board I got. Man, this thing is called, I think it's called a super board. Got it from Walmart. I don't know if you can see anything on there, if that helps any or whatever. Maybe I'll put the link in there from Walmart. But man, this thing is durable. I mean, listen to that. So this is what we're going to use. I'm going to leave the handle and put it towards the front, because I still want some water to run out that hole if I get any to come over the top. So let's get started. If y'all ain't never had the drive out, that's what the drive looks like. And that is the new drive. Notice here, I didn't know this was broke, but I'm going to have to get a new propeller. It's broke. But this is the new flex drive. So this is what it looks like out of the boat. So it is pretty big, and it's also, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, it's pretty heavy. I could probably look up what it is, but it's a lot heavier than I thought it'd be. So that'll take a lot of the weight out of the boat too, which would be great, because we all know they say a boat do 450. I ain't gonna argue with nobody, but I believe that's a little high on the weight. So anyways, but stay tuned. So notice right here, this thing's gonna be perfect. It's gonna line right up with that little edge there. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. It's gonna line up with that little edge right there. But I love the fact that this is exactly what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna bump it right up against there. This right here, this battery box section of the, but I wanna leave this because it's gonna be a little bit wider. You see where that flange is at. And that way water can still run there and run in there. So so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna even this thing up. So I ain't got a cameraman, so bear with me. I'm gonna try to measure both sides here best I can. 2 3/4. Two and 3/4. So we're right there. I eyeballed that baby and it's perfect. So I'm gonna start by, I'm gonna mark this right here where this is at. So it's about right here. Notice how I laid the pencil down here beside of it like it was straight up and down. Get me a mark there, and I'll measure that too, but I just want to get an idea where it's at. Now you use the pencil on this blackboard because you can see it. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take this square and line it up right here with this edge right here, and then I'm going to do the same thing this way. Okay, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get something where I can get up there and I can see that. So I got me something to step up on where I can see that edge. And what I do is I'm lining that with that hole up underneath it and making sure I get it straight. Which I can do over to here. That looks good right there. Now all that's for is I want to see I'm getting that full pattern. That's what I'm doing. All right. So now, hopefully y'all can see the outside lines now. So I just did that to give me a reference for when we put the holes in. Oh, I just got messed up. See, that's why you always want to check everything. So now, what I can do is I know that this is lined up with that and my screw holes are on the other side. So now I can measure the distance between these two. Where's my tape measure? Okay. So now I can measure across these. Man, I need a cameraman. So I'm gonna measure across these. So that's 7.5 in there. So in between there. So now, if we put this down here and we measure that, see, that's 6 3/4. So that's 3/4. So that's 3/8 on each side. We got to add to that. So I'm going to add 3/8. Make a mark. I'm cheating this right now. I'm just going to do it like this right here. 1, 2, 3. 3/8. Then I'll make this line. Wish I'd had a smaller square, but I didn't have one. So there's my mark. There's 3/8. Now I can measure from that side. I said it was 7.5. So now I can I'll do it this way to get a better measurement. I'll put it on the one. So that'd be 8.5. So, because I added to it. Okay. Now, so I'll do it this way where I can see how straight the line is. Looks pretty good. Now that should measure 8.5 across there. Yep, dead on it. So now the only thing we'll have to figure out is, after we cut them two sides off, so now I got to measure what this is from here, because I'm hitting right on that edge. So I need to come back about 2.5 inches. So we'll cut that out right there. That'll give us that little indent in there. And then same thing over here, 2.5. 2.5. Same thing, we'll get rid of this. Alright. I'm gonna try to use the jigsaw on this, so let's do it. Well, I couldn't find my jigsaw. How many of you out there is the same way? Every time you get ready to do something, you can't find the tools. So you go buy more and then you'll find them. That's how it works. So for all you wives who get mad about all the tools we buy, that's exactly what happens. So, but anyways, Mace, you're gonna have to come around this side. This is very janky, but that's what we're gonna have to do here today. So hold that down tight. Right here. All right. So all I got to do now is so we're just a little tight on this one side, but this part's perfect for our size. So I've got to just clean this up just a little bit. She'll pop it right down in there, and we'll get the bowl holes in it. Be good to go. So stay tuned. Okay, so there's our plate. Had to do a little bit of ingenuity up there because the boat ain't perfectly, you know, centered from here to here. It's a little bit bigger over there, so I just 45'd those. Mainly just don't want stuff falling through that hole as much as possible. I know we still have, but you know, you could always set something up there, a bag, a cooler or something, and you know, you're still gonna have a little bit of a hole back here. Ain't nothing you can do about that right there. So so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our tape measure. Well, since this seems to set so well back here at the back on that edge right there, I'm going to mark that with my pencil. So I just have this old battery sitting there for weight. So that's setting really good in that groove right there. So now I'm just going to draw a line. And of course we'll make our holes a little bit bigger, but we're going to use that to measure over and get our dimensions for where our holes need to go. So see, now you see my lines right there. Hopefully you see those, the lines that I made. So now I'm going to hold that tape right there, pull out, and then find my center of my so it was like 1.5. I'll write that down. 1.5, 1.5, 6, and say 5/8, and 11 7/8. I'm gonna check it over here just to make sure it's the same and it's close enough. So, because we're gonna make our hole a little bit big. So now we have that. Now we're gonna see where that's fitting. So pretty much our holes. Now, I just noticed, I think them holes are setting over further on this side. So these holes are setting 3/4 of an inch to the center on this side. And they're only, see, that's what was giving me so much problems. And they're only, wow. That's they're only setting about a 1/2 inch on that side. So I marked this, I don't know if you can see the light top. So we know this is going to be a 1/2 inch over. And I think I said this side was 3/4 of the way over. So, yes. So 3/4. So all I'm going to do is lay out for my holes. These are 7/16, so these are going to be 250 bolts diameter. So I'm going to drill them about 312 to give us a little bit of room to, you know, make up the difference, because we'll have washers on them anyways. So stay tuned. I know a lot of people ain't going to have a pair of calipers, but I was a machinist for years, so I'm actually going to measure this to make sure. So I was right, 250. So if we make it the hole about 312, that's going to get us, I might even go a little more. I might find something around 100 thousandths instead of give 50 thousandths in every direction if we're off a little bit, and we're probably going to be. All right, y'all. So I did a little sanding on it, try to make it a little bit better. So now I'm going to try to show y'all what I'm doing when I drill these holes best I can. I lost my cameraman, my daughter and them had to leave. But I'm going to use what's called a center drill. A lot of people ain't going to have them, but one reason I'm using this is because I want to try to keep that hole pretty precise. Because I'm going so big and it's going to be so close to the edge. This was supposed to be about a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to double check my lines. So yeah, so good to go now. All right, let's head out for the moment of truth. All right, so there we have it. There's our little plate, and really all this is for is where we stepping over here, we don't step and twist the ankle or whatever. Waters can still drain down through there. That even might help cause something from not falling in there. If you drop something, maybe that'll catch it a little bit. Like I said, now I got a good pattern. I'll be able to, I could go back here and digitize these, and me and Wesley could make a lot better one. This first one I had to do a little bit of, you know, I like to say finessing it to get it to fit just right. But man, look, it works good. I mean, it's there, it's tight. I mean, 13 bucks, you know, in an hour and a half of time. You know, first time I ever done one, could have probably done it faster. But there we have it. We took care of that. So that's a flex drive, what would you call it? Cover plate, if you want to take your flex drive off for your Knarr. Thank you again for tuning in to Country Kids Outdoors. As always, you can't harvest them in the house. You got to get up, get outdoors, and have a great time, and worship the Creator more than the created. See you next time.